So this is our Thermotrack boxing and setup video. So we're going to start by opening up the box and see what's inside. So what we have here is the sensor itself with a 10-foot cable, a 3 or a 5 amp fuse for power and ground. And then we've got a mounting bracket, which we will talk about shortly. 2 magnets and some stickers. Let's see what we got here. There is a sticker for the back panel. We've got a couple of screws, and then we've got 2 additional stickers for the sides. So before we dive into how to assemble and test everything, let's just look at the end goal here. What is it that we're looking to achieve from a mounting standpoint? So this is the unit when it's fully mounted. As we can see, there is a metal bracket that holds the 2 magnets, and on the other side we've got the sensor itself being held with an adhesive. If for whatever reason you're mounting this on a surface that is non-magnetic, we've got a couple of other adhesives for that. So let's just quickly look at the process on how is it that you would install this and get it going. So first step would be, if you're doing a magnetic mount, first step would be to mount the magnets using the provided screws, and we would essentially just mount the 2 magnets like this. Once the mounting is done, we'd recommend that you clean this surface and this surface so that they're oil free, and use this adhesive tape to mount everything. It is highly recommended that you do this in a warm, don't do it outdoors in freezing temperatures, because the adhesive does require a little bit of time to cure and essentially bond as well as it should. It is a 3M adhesive, so it's very, very good quality. It just needs a little bit of time. So once you've got the surfaces cleaned up, just peel off the adhesive and then just paste it on the Thermotrack body itself, and then mount the mounting plate like so, and this should hold it in place. Should not have any issues with it. Again, as long as these surfaces are clean and you're not doing this in the freezing temperatures, you should be fine. Once the adhesive is cured and it's stuck properly, then this can be left outdoors, so there's absolutely no problem. Now, in the event that this is being installed on anything aluminum, and these magnets won't work, so for that we've got these 2 additional adhesives. Same logic applies. You want to clean both surfaces before you mount the adhesive, and once the adhesive is mounted, you want to give it a little bit of time to properly set in, and then once that's done, you should be good to go. As far as mounting goes, there is no right or wrong way. Just find a nice surface where you're going to have enough coverage for the plate to be able to stick. We'd ideally like the Thermotrack mounted such that it's pointing a little bit away from the wheel track, so you don't want it pointing right down. There is an adjustment available here that you could use to adjust this. So once you have it mounted, just point it in a direction where it is maybe a foot or 2 feet from your wheel track, and that should work really well. Now let's see how to pair this with a display or with the MTS Pro. So to do that, first thing we need is to supply power. So we've got a fuse here. If the unit for whatever reason isn't working, the first thing you should do is just double check if you've got a fuse here. We supply these with a 5 amp fuse. Anything 3 or 5 amps should be fine. As far as powering this is concerned, we only want to power this with an ignition and a ground. We do not want constant power such that the battery is always powering this even when the vehicle's off. That will of course drain the battery, and for no reason we're essentially using our electronics here for longer. So we highly recommend that you avoid that. So power here, preferably ignition powered or accessory powered, and ground here. Do a nice connection inside where you're using an appropriate means to connect these wires. Always make sure that the fuse, verify that the fuse is good when you first install this. Now let's look at the pairing process and see how you can actually get this to work with the various displays that we have available for it. So we just supplied power to the Thermatrack. There are no lights on it. So if for whatever reason you believe that your unit isn't powered up, you can always open these screws and see if there's LEDs that are lit up inside. But by default, the moment this is powered up, it will start transmitting temperature data to all of the various compatible devices that we support. The easiest one is the display. So this is the rugged vehicle display for the Thermatrack. There is absolutely no pairing required. So the moment this device is fired up and you turn on your display, it's going to start reading. If you've got multiple displays and multiple Thermatracks, then there's of course going to be some conflicts and you might see varying readings. But other than that, since there is no pairing, this will just display whatever Thermatrack data it is able to receive. And this will just broadcast whatever temperature data it has for any display to be able to receive it. So that's our display here. Not much really, other than the fact that you can change your units. You can change the brightness, which will stick even if you restart the display here. And the last thing that you can do is essentially change the orientation of the display, because you may choose to mount it like this or like this. The standalone display for the Thermatrack does not transmit. So this is a display only. This will not transmit this data onto a portal or any website. So this is just for display. And the easiest way to power it is to just use a standard USB. So it comes with a standard USB plug that you can use to power it using a vehicle's USB outlet, and no pairing required. So the moment you plug it in, you should be able to start reading temperature readings from here. The second option to display the Thermatrack pavement temperature is to use an MTS Pro. So we've got an MTS Pro here that is currently not configured to read anything from a Thermatrack. So to get it to work with a Thermatrack, we're going to long press the gear icon, go into settings, and we're going to go into configure temperature sensor. First thing we're going to do is we're going to enable the display. So when I do that, I'm able to see that the display starts showing up here. The green dot indicates that the unit's connected, and it kind of just switches between various pieces of information. If I go back into my settings, configure temperature sensor, I have the option to actually select where is it on the display that I want to show this information. So right now it's set geofence. We can actually set to the bottom of the screen as well. Now the information starts showing at the bottom. We also have the option in both cases to select how long it should show this information and how long it should hide the temperature information and show other information. So say, for example, if you want to only show pavement temperature and air temperature and nothing else, then you can just make the hide time 0. That will make this information stick. So if I put my hand in front to see the temperatures going up. So similarly, if you would rather see this information in a different spot, go to settings, change this to the geofence spot. Again, we have it show for 5 seconds, hide for 0. So it's going to essentially keep showing this information. So that's that. In some cases, there might be a need to do an air temperature offset. If you need that, reach out to us. We'll explain to you, first of all, if you need it or not. But if you ever need that, if your air temperature is maybe 1 or 2 degrees less or more than what it's supposed to be, you can always add that here. But in most cases, you wouldn't need it. So we're just going to leave this the way it is. This information, once it is shown on the MTS Pro, will transmit to the portal in real time as long as you're subscribed for that plan. Now, what does that look like? Essentially, your breadcrumb trails from the MTS Pro will automatically start changing colors, which means you're going to be able to see what temperature the unit was seeing at that very point. So you're able to see all of that. You're able to change your units accordingly. So that's all in settings. So that's the second method of using the Thermatrack and being able to see the information on display. The Thermatrack information can also be transmitted to our online portal using one of our dash cams. So the GPS can do it and the dash cam can do it as well. Again, you have to be subscribed to a Thermatrack enabled plan for the dash cam to transmit this information. There is no setup required. So once you've enabled that on the portal, the dash cam should automatically detect that there is a Thermatrack that is available in the vehicle, and it should be able to transmit this information to the online portal automatically. Again, this does require a plan. We do have a mobile app that is going to be released soon, hopefully first week of January 2024, where the information from the Thermatrack will be available on a mobile app as well. And there's going to be another video on that. One last bit before we finish this video is, if you ever have to update or configure or calibrate your Thermatrack, there is a way to do that. So every Thermatrack will broadcast or create a hotspot. That hotspot does not have internet, but it will create a hotspot that will let you access its settings. So to connect to that Thermatrack, go to your Wi-Fi settings. You will see a Thermatrack followed by a serial number. So just click that. The password is 12345678. Now, when you connect to this hotspot, your phone will say that there is no internet available on this network. Just make sure to acknowledge that. And at this point, you want to just connect. And once you've done that, we're going to go back and open up our browser. And we're going to type in 192.168.4.1. Perfect. So you do that, you see a diagnostics page. Hopefully you will almost never have to use this, but in the event that you do, we've got the ability to change some of the settings on this so that it is calibrated to the environment that it is installed in. The main setting here is emissivity. Everything is factory calibrated to 0.7. It's a good idea to verify that. But if for whatever reason your unit is not functioning properly, you could change that emissivity from 0.7 to 0.71, 0.72. Just type it in this box here and hit submit. That should change the value. And once it's changed, you will actually be able to see it reflect here as well. The temperature, when you change the emissivity, will go way out of whack until you restart the device. So at this point, I am just going to restart the device and that should fix my temperature readings. But that is your emissivity changing process. Essentially, if you ever have to calibrate the unit, change the emissivity, restart the device, see if it's better now, change the emissivity again. But again, in most cases, you wouldn't need that. But in the event that you do, this is the process.